Ladies and gentlemen, I meant to record this video a lot earlier. I was actually going to do it last night, but I was super tired when I recorded my Bo Nix video. It was already like 2 in the morning, and then by the time I got everything edited, my thumbnail made, and then posted and uploaded, it was like 3 in the morning. So I was tired, and then I was tired this morning, and I was honestly kind of lazy. But you guys know who the best players are if you're watching this channel, I would imagine. But here are my best players remaining. I think I have 35 or something to fill up the whole second round and a little bit of the third round technically. But I'm sure some of these guys are going to go in second, some of these guys are going to go in the third, and some of them won't even go until tomorrow. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump in to my best players remaining on day 2 of the NFL draft. So my best player remaining is Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver out of Texas. I am a big fan of Adonai Mitchell. He is my number 5 receiver. And some receivers after him in my rankings went Xavier Legette, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Worthy even. But Adonai Mitchell, I think, is a number 1 receiver in the future. I think probably right now would be more seen as a number 2 receiver, but would eventually take over as a team's number 1 receiver. I'm going to go through this quick so this video doesn't take forever. My next best player available is Jerzon, aka Johnny Newton, one of the best interior defensive linemen. We only had one go last night in Byron Murphy. I guess if you want to count Darius Robinson to the Cardinals, you could. I see him as an edge player, but could play inside as well. But Jerzon Newton, my number 2 interior defender, is still available. I thought he was going to be going to the Dolphins, honestly. Number 3, Kool-Aid McKinstry, one of my favorite players in the draft. Through the whole process, through the early process, throughout the whole time, McKinstry is someone who I wanted the Broncos to take. You know, I doubt he will fall to the Broncos. He does have an injury, so maybe he will fall to the 3rd round and the Broncos can get him to pair with Pat Surtain, but I highly doubt it. He is my best corner available. He was my number 3 corner in this draft. I have him ahead of Cooper DeJean, who we'll get to here in a little bit. Number 4 is going to be Jackson Powers Johnson, the center from Oregon. Bo Nix's center this past season. Of course, we already have an Oregon center, and Alex Forsyth, who was his center last year. But Jackson Powers Johnson is the better prospect, in my opinion, the best center in this entire class and the best interior offensive lineman in this entire class. We also have Cooper DeJean, the cornerback out of Iowa. You know, a lot of people like him. I do think he will play as a corner, you know, a very rare corner, as he's a white corner. But I think he will play corner. It just depends on where he's going to go. I think a big reason why he fell was he didn't test at the combine, and so that would be my biggest reason to why he fell. I have him listed as a DB because he can play safety as well, but I see him mostly as a corner in the NFL. At my next pick is going to be T'Vondre Sweat. Based off of pure skill, T'Vondre Sweat is an elite player, and I could see him going in the 2nd round, but with his recent legal troubles, maybe he slips to the 3rd round, maybe he slips into day 3. We'll have to see, but based on pure talent, T'Vondre Sweat is one of the better defensive linemen available. We also have Braylon Trice, the edge rusher out of Washington. Premier edge rusher here. I think he's my best edge available still, and so Braylon Trice is another best player available. Then, I don't know why it went back. Something's glitching right now, but Zach Frazier, the center from West Virginia, is one of my best players available. To me, was he the best? No, Jackson Powers Johnson was the best center. Zach Frazier was my number 2 center, if you don't count Graham Barton as a center, because I think Barton can play safety, guard, or tackle. He can play anywhere you want on the line. I like him as a guard or a tackle, but he was announced as a center last night, so he could very well play center as well. But Zach Frazier is my 2nd best center available. Then we have Troy Franklin, the wide receiver out of Oregon. I feel like a lot of people started to drop on him after the combine, but I still think Franklin is a very, very talented wide receiver. I think he's a number 2 receiver right now. Could he be a number 1 receiver on a team? Potentially down the road, but right now I see him as a number 2 receiver. And hey, if the Broncos, if we want to pair Bo Nix up with his college receiver and Troy Franklin, I would be all for it. Next up, we have Jatavian Sanders. I don't know why it's glitching right now. Um, the presentation is just glitching. It is what it is. But Jatavian Sanders, JT Sanders out of Texas, is my best tight end available after, obviously, Brock Bowers went to the Raiders last night. Jatavian Sanders is still available. Now, I think I would prefer Jaheim Bell to go to the Broncos because that's my guy. But JT Sanders is still available on most people's, well, not most people's, he is available. Best tight end available, in my opinion. Keon Coleman, okay. Keon Coleman, if I have no idea why it's glitching. I think it might be my keyboard or something. But Keon Coleman is an excellent receiver that's still available. I'm kind of flustered now after it keeps glitching. But to me, he dropped after the combine, didn't perform well at the combine, ran a 4.61 at the combine. And so maybe teams are a little bit lower on him. But there have been some rumblings and have been some rumors that Keon Coleman could be an early pick, could potentially be the Bills pick with the first pick in the third round here. But yeah, Keon Coleman is a great receiver, tall receiver, transferred from Michigan State to Florida State this past season and had a great year with the Seminoles. Next up, we have Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker out of Texas A&M, the best off-ball linebacker in this class, the best inside backer in this class, can do it all. And if there is a linebacker selected in the second round, I would expect it to be him. But of course, we will have to see how that plays out. Next up, okay, I'm just going to use my mouse, is Chris Jenkins, the defensive lineman out of Michigan. Obviously, his father played in the NFL. Chris Jenkins is now available from the national champion Michigan Wolverines for anyone who needs an interior defender and an interior rusher. And then next up, we have Cooper Beebe, the best pure guard in the class out of Kansas State. If you need a guard, Beebe is an elite, I won't say elite, but he is a great guard prospect, and he will solidify that offensive line for you at the guard position. Then we have Braylon Allen, the running back out of Wisconsin. It looks fine on your guys' screen that I'm recording. I don't know what's going on, but Braylon Allen is my best running back. I don't even know what's going on. I hope you guys can see Braylon Allen. It says that on the recording software, but I don't even know. But Braylon Allen is my best running back available. I could easily see him going here, but a lot of people are low on him. He could go third round and maybe even fall tomorrow into day 3. But my next best player is going to be Ennis Rakestraw, cornerback out of Missouri. One of the better cornerbacks still available if you need one. I obviously prefer Kool-Aid McKinstry and Cooper DeJean, but he's a great prospect who could go, I say, mid to late second round, early third round, somewhere in that range. Next up, we have Kingsley Siamatia, offensive tackle out of BYU, the cousin of Penei Sewell. I don't think he's going to be as good as Penei Sewell, but I think he can be a very solid tackle in the NFL. Next up is my guy in Jaheim Bell, the tight end out of Florida State. Vertical threat, not a great blocker, but he will be a receiver receiver at the tight end position. Then we have his teammate in Trey Benson, the running back out of Florida State. Finally, we have Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver out of Georgia, could easily have been a first-round pick. I have him more as a second-round guy, and he will be one of the first receivers off the board, in my opinion. It's kind of ranked how I think they should go, but I think it should be Adonai Mitchell first, then Troy Franklin and Keon Coleman, and then Ladd McConkey, in my opinion. Next up, we have Blake Corum, the running back out of Michigan. He will be a elite running back, maybe a little bit undersized, but I think he'll be a very, very good back in the NFL. Smaller, but that also means he can hide behind his blockers. Next up, we also have the Michigan wide receiver in Roman Wilson. Could easily see him going in the second round. I think probably the end of the second round, early third round is where we'll see Roman Wilson from Michigan. Then we have Theo Johnson, the tight end from Penn State, a vertical threat, a vertical guy. I'm not as high on Ben Sinnott as a lot of people are, but Theo Johnson, Jaheim Bell, those are guys who I would love for my Broncos to target here in day 2 if we go after the tight end position. Next up, Mike Sainristil, cornerback out of Michigan. More of a slot guy. Don't know if you want to play him on the outside, but he will be a solid cornerback in the NFL, in my opinion. Then we have Jeremiah Trotter, the linebacker out of Clemson. I'm a little bit higher on Jeremiah Trotter than a lot of people are, but another inside off-ball linebacker. We'll have to see where he lands. Then we have Jalen Polk, the wide receiver out of Washington. One of 3 great wide receivers who went to Washington, who played with Michael Penix. Of course, Rome Odunze went to the Bears. Jalen Polk is the next best one, in my opinion. We'll have to see where he goes. And then, of course, Jalen McMillan is the third one, who I think will probably go maybe late today, early tomorrow. So we'll have to see where they go. Next up, Marshawn Lloyd, the running back out of USC. Very easily could be the first running back taken, since there's still none off the board. But yeah, we'll have to see where he goes he went to USC, also went to South Carolina. So yeah, Marshawn Lloyd, next best player available. Then Jonathan Brooks, the running back out of Texas, could easily be the best running back in this class, but is coming off of an ACL injury. So teams might be a little bit more concerned on taking him because ACL injuries can be nasty. We saw the regression of Javonte Williams last season, which pains me to say, but we did. Hopefully he can bounce back, and ACLs aren't easy to recover from, so we'll have to see how Jonathan Brooks recovers from his ACL injury. Then we have Michael Hall, defensive lineman out of Ohio State. More of a pass rusher as an interior defender, but can't help out on the run, needs to improve in that area, but more of an interior pass rusher. Then we have Peyton Wilson. Some people consider him the best linebacker in this draft, but he does have some medical concerns, and some teams have taken him off their board. I personally hope the Broncos don't go after Wilson. The medical concerns do scare me a lot, and I don't want us to take an off-ball linebacker today if we do take one in the 5th round. Next up, it is going to be Braden Fisk, defensive lineman out of Florida State, another interior guy. This is where the depth of the defense start to come in. Last night, it was very offensive heavy, but now the depth of the defense is starting to show with these day 2 players. Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee, could easily go today, probably in the 3rd round, I would imagine, maybe slips to the 4th round, but Jalen Wright is a stud running back out of Tennessee. Then we have Kamari Lassiter, the cornerback out of Georgia, another corner here. I do like Kool-Aid McKinstry. I do like Cooper DeJean, obviously, a little bit more. I wouldn't mind if you took him over Ennis Rakestraw. But Kamari Lassiter is one of my guys who I really like out of Georgia. Then there's TJ Tampa, who I'm a little bit lower on, and I need to fix this real quick. All right, we have fixed it. So he's a cornerback, not a running back, but TJ Tampa, another great corner. A little bit lower on him than a lot of other people, but I think he'll be a fantastic pick here in day 2. Then we have Junior Colson, the linebacker out of Michigan, and I believe that is going to conclude my best players available. I went through this fast because I didn't want a super long video. I just wanted to get my best players out there. So I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'm going to be live here a little bit later to react to the 2nd round, or I guess not just the 2nd round, day 2, the 2nd and 3rd round. So yeah, I hope to see you there. I'll catch you next time, or I'll catch you in the next one, and peace out.